Hello and welcome to episode 14 of the Inner Miami Show. I am one half of your hosting duo, Brandon Griffin, wearing Chelsea blue in honor of my poor defeated co-host, Mike, secretly a red Longan. How are you today, my man?
Yesterday was rough. Yesterday was a rough day. The worst part about that Chelsea match was it was a super competitive game. And then you remember Liverpool had more than half their starters sitting in the stands watching and cheering. And you just
Mm-hmm.
realized how far behind Chelsea is right now. And that was a little bit rough. But then, moved on. Got excited for yesterday, last night's game. And you know what? Wasn't a whole lot better. So
No.
it was a tough day. We'll get into that. I do want to call out. So 14th episode, we were up to 100 subscribers on YouTube. So
Yeah.
we asked those watching to jump on, hit that like and subscribe, and they did. We'll put it out there because now we're going for 200. So we gotta set the new benchmark.
So we want 200 by the time we go live next. No.
Yeah, I think.
No,
I don't
we
think we have
just
to be that
appreciate the
ambitious.
support. No, we appreciate the support and just glad to be here and to be providing content that you guys seem to like. For instance, the parking lot video is, I think, our most watched video at this point. We're one view away from being our most watched video. So we will definitely be bringing that back.
Yeah, we're doing that Saturday. In
Yeah.
chairs. We were told that may try sitting down this time instead of jumping on each other. So we're gonna try sitting down.
Yeah.
Put the mics a little farther from us. It won't be so cold, so we won't be as bundled up.
Yeah. I was
But I'm
also
excited for it.
told to hug Mike more than I did in that video. So I'm okay with that. But lots to uncover today. Mostly be Mike and I fighting. So I hope you guys are ready for that. But jumping in to the good news of the week, roster news. Finally, Redondo, done deal. He's an Inter Miami player pending his visa. So we should see him starting soon. Mike, how you feeling now? The ups and downs of this transfer. I mean,
so this is interesting because Taylor Twellman said something yesterday, and I know you either love Taylor or like most people hate him. And so he made the point that Inter Miami lost so much when Ferraris went down. We lost such a vertical threat and such an attacking threat. And the fact that we've replaced him with a CDM doesn't feel right. But so that's one side.
Twellman,
the other side is
an attacker. He doesn't know anything about defending.
We also can't score still, so it's a valid comment. So, but moving on. So the other side is, I think this is huge. I think this is I'm not gonna call it the missing piece. It's a missing piece in this team. We're clearly seeing that we do not have, like, Tata wants to run a 3-man line, even though he's saying it's a 4-man back line. He's still trying to pretend it's one by using a CDM as kind of a third, like a little triangle back there. And Busquets is not it. And there's no one really else because we don't have Bright under contract. So Redondo is it. And Redondo is, being considered as one of the best CDM prospects coming up. So at the end of the day, it's huge for a team. I think we're going to see an immediate impact once he gets on there. I just think Twellman isn't wrong with his comment. Also, hello to Tej. We have our first comment of the day coming from the one and only Tej.
As it should be.
But that's, I think, listen, this is a huge signing. It's a great impactful signing, but I don't think Twellman's wrong on calling out that lack of another attacking player
I think Twellman's wrong because he's always wrong. He is the absolute worst thing about watching Inter Miami games on Apple TV. If you're doing your research and you want to be a serious journalist, Trevor, or whatever the hell your first name is, Twellman, you need to learn it's La Noche. You started off the game by saying Inter Miami in their El Noche. Yeah.
Do we have the right to make that comment? I don't have the right to make that comment. I know that. And you've butchered too many names.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, we've butchered those names. We butcher everything we say on this show.
It's different when you completely ignore a fact that a jersey that's been out for 2 years, you're calling it El Noche. You're supposed to be a professional, Taylor.
Of of
That
of
was
all of
that
all
was a
the
sign of
12
everything going downhill.
of all the 12 takes, and there's been so many. That's the one. That's the one you're planting the flag on. I mean, that's
No, that told me the commentating night was going to go downhill and downhill fast, and it did.
what do you think about Redondo, the guy that we were actually supposed to be talking about, not Taylor Twellman?
Yeah. So Redondo, I think he shores up our midfield. I think a lot of the problems that we're going to talk about in our LA Galaxy recap is because Busquets has very clearly lost a step. He cannot be expected to assist in the attack, also work in the defense, and then, oh, by the way, try and counter again. He can't do it. And putting him in a more advanced role and letting him be a playmaker because he still sees the game incredibly well. I think he still anticipates things well. He just can't do it. And man, I'm there. We play pickup soccer, and I'm like, yeah, I got this. And then I stretch out, and I'm like, oh shit, I got this. We've all been there. And it's nothing against Busquets. It's just it's time for him to transition out of that CDM role. And I think Redondo clears that up with the way that he passes the ball, with the way he moves the ball forward. I think that's what you need in the counterattack. Now, it's still what still worries me is we do not have a speedy center back pairing because clearly Sergey and Toto are the guys for now, the 1 and 2, until Freyer's up and running. I think that injury is probably something that they're trying to be very cautious with, which is why we didn't see him in the game last night. But hopefully he brings the speed with Toto that we need to kind of really have a better, more fluid defense. But I think Redondo shores things up quite a bit.
You know, the only thing I'd add to that is the drop off in Busquets and frankly in Suarez too. Not that we've covered it yet, but the two of them have dropped off so much even since last season. You know, you look at Suarez's
So I
Brazilian.
don't think that's 100% true in Busquets thing
The first
because
two
we were
games,
kind of having this. Yeah, the first 2 games were like adrenaline for him,
maybe,
but
but
we were having
his Leagues
very
Cup was
similar.
his Leagues Cup was a hell of a Leagues Cup, and he had a huge. And we've said that a lot about this team, and I think the team is a little more tied to Busquets, like Busquets up, Busquets down, team down. But there has been just a remarkable drop off, and it's gotten worse. And I think I agree. I think Redondo gets on the field,
Well,
takes the pressure off. Busquets kind of can settle in a little more, and we're going to see a change. But it just is
I
crazy to me, like how much
I
different he
also
looks
think,
now.
and we don't I don't have any information to like back this up, but I also think that Busquets is probably still a little tender from his injury because there were times when he was making runs and he looked like he might be in a little bit of pain.
I
Not as
didn't see
much pain
that,
as
but I'm not.
Suarez,
Yeah,
but
Jesus.
no, I think because to your point, he was better than this last year when we asked him to play in the CDM role. He looked better. So I'm wondering if there's still a little nagging going on with that ankle. But I don't think I mean Busquets has been dropping off probably the last 2 years, which is
But
expected
the
at
problem
his
with
age.
Busquets,
2, 3 years.
and again, it's the remarkable drop off because his passing the past 2 games has been atrocious, and this is one of the best passers in the game, right? Like he's the one who could teach clinics on this, and just and
Well,
you can actually say if his foot's injured, if he's fighting a nagging injury, that will have an impact. And I hope you're right, and I hope it's just something he's going to work through. But it's just again, I just call it a remarkable drop off because it's
well, the
more than
other
you'd
thing
expect.
too is Busquets was 100% gassed for most of the game. I
That's
think
fair.
he was constantly being caught out. And Galaxy they saw it and they were
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Yeah, we're going to keep fucking with you," and they did. And hats off to them for exploiting him like that. But I think when you're under pressure like that and you've been exposed a couple of times, that kind of goes into like I'm going to make some bad passes. And Pablo, you're absolutely right. They were pressing him hard. When he
Oh, and
touched the
that
ball, they were right there on him. And he was trying to man mark and he clearly cannot man mark anymore, which is fine.
no,
We don't
he has
need
to
him to
move
do
up.
that. We need him to distribute and we need him in the front of the midfield,
Yeah.
not the back.
It's a just kind of closing the circle, Redondo is
Yeah.
going to make that impact. He's going to let Busquets be Busquets. And I'm hoping, kind of as the injury heals up, Redondo gets in there and we start seeing some of that magic happen again. I am fearful for Saturday because we will not have Redondo and we are going to be asking these things. But
is it confirmed that we're not going to have him?
I haven't seen anything to tell us we're going to have Redondo for Saturday. Now, it could change.
I
But
saw a
again,
lot of people very confident we were going to have him Sunday.
yeah.
So that leads me to believe. I don't know. We'll see because I
I
don't.
think people are guessing.
Team obviously didn't practice today, so we'll see
No,
him
they had day
practice
off.
tomorrow. If
They
he
are, yeah.
practices, then that means he's got his work visa. He's ready to go.
The team took the plane last night. They took the red eye home. So as some of our friends were taking the red eye, the plane the team was on, so they got a day to sleep in. Frankly,
Chasing
I think
the team.
Tata should be canceling tomorrow's practice and let them sleep a little bit longer too, just like really let them rest. But
I think Tata.
Who am I to criticize? Who am I to criticize our coach? I'm going to criticize him a lot today.
Well, welcome aboard the train. I can clear some room for you up here on the front of it, the Tata train. But
so let's get into this. Let's get into
first thing, because I don't think we mentioned it in the last two shows, and it's something I completely missed when we were there. For season ticket holders, I just want to bring it up. Apparently, there's now a rewards loyalty program.
We brought it up last show.
Did we?
We did.
Because I don't remember.
Yeah, I mentioned
okay.
They had the thing you could sign into, but the pain in the ass thing is you have to sign into Ticketmaster at the time you're doing it. It doesn't hold the info. And it's not like if you have 3 tickets, you only get 1 sign in. It's not like each person can sign in.
Well, that's fine.
It's kind of the logging to Ticketmaster pain because most of us don't remember our Ticketmaster passwords. I was sitting next to one guy and he was sitting there typing it in because it's not saved. It's a kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, well, keep a lookout for him because I missed it and now I'm unloyal. And who knows? This team may use this as an excuse to tell us, like, hey, you can't be a season ticket holder next year. Who knows? But jumping right into the craziness, the match recap. So your starting 11. If it looks familiar, it's because it's exactly the same as what we saw in our win against Real Salt Lake. Yeah. So, Mike, how do you feel about that?
At first sight, I'm like, no, this is a good idea. The team's good. And then like, we're tired and we're playing the same people. And I know you and I in the pre-show we're getting into this a little bit, but I think it was a mistake. And the evidence is clear once you watch that match. But
yeah,
we should be starting rotations, and we should be starting rotations now. We should be getting ready for it because coming up is a 5-game and 15 match day span, and we need to be prepping for the rotations. I understand. Tata was probably in a little bit of a tough publicity problem. You had to come in against RSL at home and play everybody. Then you're going to LA. You got to play players. But did Suarez have to start? No, I think he could have started Campana. And this is weird because we all know my thoughts on Campana, that I am not a Campana fan. Campana should have started. And then you sub Suarez in the 70th minute. So I'm not a fan of that lineup. I think it was mistakes. Sergey, I still think is just running as hard as he can. He looks 5 years younger than he did last season. But you're telling me Noah Allen, who's fresh and rested, this doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's tough. So I 100% agree about Suarez, and I think I even said that last week that Campana could probably start, and I would be okay with that. But the thing is, like, going into LA Galaxy, do you want to have, because the Galaxy, the one thing they can do is attack, which we saw. Do you really want to go with Noah Allen and Toto as your 2 center backs, 2 young, inexperienced guys? Like, I get Sergey being there just to be the steady head. Because Alba was pissed at Toto throughout most of the game.
Okay, well, Toto or Tata, because he was going off on Tata too.
Toto. There were several breaks where he tore into Toto. Like, what are you doing? Your positioning is way off.
But okay, I get it. This was a very fast LA Galaxy. And one of the things we said coming into this match was they're all new players. It might not be that cohesive. And it wasn't, right? Like, they were making runs. I forget the name of the guy that Busquets pulled back. One of their two new guys. No,
What's his name? Uh, Paintsill.
Paintsel. Paintsel was so fast. And so
Mhm.
you've got a guy like Christoph trying to match against. It was never a fair match. And so a manager's supposed to look at the likely lineup of the team they're playing. And remember we said I was worried we were going to overthink this, or I think it was the first game. I don't think Tata thought this one at all. I don't think he looked like, okay, Paintsel's probably going to
Yeah.
start. The other new guy's going to start. I need more speed. You could almost have made an argument, almost. A 3-5-2 was a better thing, and put Christoph in there with Toto and
Yeah.
Noah, and you
I
have
could see
speed
that.
and like I just don't think this
But
starting
I
line was
mean,
so much. This
we
whole
also
game was poorly managed, in my opinion. But
but,
it
but we
started with
also have
that
to
lineup.
point out that Toto had a howler of a game. He did not have a good game. And so then we're talking about putting him over there to cover
Yeah, but look at
Paintsill.
the no, but
Sergey
but
wasn't the main
but
problem with
he
defense.
wasn't. But I just Sergey's the problem was speed, in my opinion. Paintsel was burning us so hard, and that should have been foreseen. And it was Sergey that was covering Paintsel. It was not Toto was on the other side. So again, I just don't think from the starting lineup on this game was managed correctly. I just don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry,
I
I'm just
think
going to start with that. I just don't see it. Like,
well that and I think like MLS as a league, like I know it's gonna happen multiple times to different teams, but if you're gonna play 3 days rest, like why are we flying across the country? Why is any team flying across the
that's an
country?
MLS thing. Do you remember there was
Yeah,
2 years
it
ago
happens all the time, but
we
it's
had to
still
go.
annoying.
I forget who we go. I think we had to go Portland. We left us
Vancouver.
Vancouver, and then we went all the way like back to an East Coast thing. Like we did a big triangle around the country.
Oh, yeah, it was like I think it
I
was
want to
like
say it's
San
Portland.
Jose, Portland, and then we went to like I think it was one of the New York teams and
It was
then
horrible.
back home. And we weren't
So
home for
so
like 2 weeks.
like
The team itself was on
that
the road.
kind of travel. I'm okay with. That's a part of MLS. I think it's humorously, I think it's one of those things that makes MLS special that it takes that extra toll. Like you really actually, it's not like in England where every
Special.
single match you get to sleep in your own bed. You travel for real here, and
Traveling for real is one thing, but traveling across multiple time zones on 3 days rest is a
listen,
little crazy.
every the NBA does it every game every 3 days. NBA,
I think
NHL.
the NBA, NHL, and MLB do a much better job of managing road trips than MLS does. And I think
I
they
think it's a
have
part
to
of it.
because it's like you've got like back-to-back nights
I
or
gotcha.
like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they try and think about
but
geographic.
still, kind of just coming to to your point, you're looking at this, you're looking at what the team's about to go through, and you
Yeah.
don't change the starters? Like, that's
Yeah, that
horrible.
I
Like,
don't
that is
get.
just poor
Yeah.
coaching.
Yeah. I mean, because very clearly in Robbie Taylor, great first game. But the thing is like Robbie did not play a lot in preseason. So I don't know what Tata thought. Like, he's going to be ready to go in 3 days. Like, he didn't play much. And then
It's
Gressel again in the midfield, like, it didn't work game one. You really think it's going to work in this game?
but I'll tell you why Taylor goes. Can you flash back up the roster? Can you go back to that slide?
Yeah.
Who else is going to start for him? Look who we've got sitting out there. We don't have a winger.
I
We
think
don't
you could
have a
have
center
made
forward.
I think you could have made the argument that Gomez could have slid up to Taylor's spot, and
I
then you could have had a Malta or Ruiz start.
I
You could have even had a
I don't
Sunderland
think
if you wanted to go more attacking.
we've Gomez as the left wing, because he did eventually play there, it was not impressive. I think
That's not
Tata knows
true.
that.
That is not true. When
He
he
didn't look
played the
great there.
left wing, he was in great positions. He was making exceptional runs. He just didn't have the finishing boot, which he clearly had. He found last game. So I don't think to say that he was bad on the left wing is fair at all.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to argue that one because I didn't see that, but I'm not going to argue it. I just
You did
think the
see it.
problem is I'm just don't remember it.
The
I
Newell's
just
game.
Oh, no. I'm talking about never mind. I just think again, my issue, and this might have been my issue since before the
Mhm.
preseason. We don't have enough attacking players. And I was laughing because I was on one of the Facebook groups, because we know those are just dumpster fires. And people were like, we need more defenders. I'm like, do we understand that our problem is attacking? We're not scoring goals consistently. The RSL game, again, we only have two. Okay, I'll be honest. We only have a sample criteria of two, but we couldn't
Thank you.
score
I'm glad
yesterday.
you acknowledged
Yeah,
that.
I'm acknowledging it. We couldn't score yesterday. I think we've had only one good attacking half, like where we've shown
Mhm.
we can attack over and over again. Nothing in LA could we get an attack going. There was moments. The start to the second half
I
was
thought
the first 5
we
minutes,
had some pretty good moments in the second half,
but it wasn't
and we
consistent.
looked a lot better once Campana came on and Suarez came off because we were making some more runs.
Well, we had a guy who could actually run. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, so we're jumping way ahead. So let's cover. I'm sure everyone, like I said, usual. Everyone's kind of watched the game, but it was a 1-1 draw. Uh, how so the first, let's just talk about the first half. The LA should have scored 4 goals. It was Drake Callender was man of the match before the second half even started. Stood on his head, saved a penalty in the 13th minute. Paintsill makes a run. Busquets puts a hand on him. I don't think Busquets pulled all that hard. Like, it was a little tug. Paintsill felt it and hit the ground, as he's trained to do. That
And
was not.
that's gonna be a penalty every day.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm
Yeah.
not. Let's be clear. I am not
No, no,
criticizing this
no, we
penalty.
get it.
I'm calling it out as that's what a striker or a wing. You're told to do that. You feel it go
Mhm.
down. He did it. Penalty all day. Calendar's great. Now, Ricky Puig did not take a great PK in my opinion. He was very. I think he was kind of telegraphing that where he's going. Calendar's great stop, but then LA attacked and attacked, and we had nothing to show for. We should have made subs in the 25th minute. Like, I know
Who
most
would you have
managers
brought
are.
on?
I am moving Busquets up, and I'm putting Sunderland in that spot probably. You
In
have
the
to. You had to move
CDM
Busquets.
spot?
I'm doing something. We had no other. You had to do something.
Sunderland's a cam, dude.
I don't care.
I would maybe
Busquets
put
is in a.
Ruiz in. I could see Ruiz as a CDM over Sunderland.
You had to do something. Our midfield was getting trashed. We had no speed. Now you're kind of talking back into the 3-man line and pull and bring Noah to give help, but Tatsa did nothing. He didn't do his first sub, I think, until the 60th minute, give or take.
I think it was 67th minute was the first subs.
We had every single fan was begging for subs. Everyone saw the game was out of hand. We were getting trashed.
Yeah.
Like, it was again horribly managed.
I mean,
and
so I do agree that it was horribly managed, but I think making subs at the 25th minute is a little preemptive, especially because, like, from the 34th minute on, like, we had some good scoring. Like, that was when we started pressing, was the end of that first half.
I get you're not going to make a sub in the first 10 to 15. I do. Like, you got to let the game settle. But in the 20th to 25th minute, we were still getting trashed. Like, at that point,
yeah, but that's
you are. But here's the flip side: you don't make a sub, and LA scores 2 goals back to back in 2 minutes, which was entirely a realistic possibility in that match. There was nothing stopping that from happening.
Yeah, but I think making subs before halftime. I'm not a big fan unless you're, like, trying to make a point to somebody.
And I think if he, again, Tata's looking at his team, seeing tired legs, seeing Busquets getting picked on, and he's trying to run the attack partially through Busquets. You had to make something change, a formation change, tell someone to do something. Our boy Taylor or boy Tolman was pointing out we started running the backs up farther. Something.
I just don't see who you bring in the 25th minute. That's going to solve that problem, right? Like, Mota has not played at all during the preseason, so to expect him to go the remainder of the game is a bit premature. Ruiz is apparently on the questionable list for an injury. Like,
again, like, these guys who didn't get playing. Mota's different because he was fighting that green card.
Yeah.
Who's that on that didn't play enough people during the preseason?
The only thing I said is Mota didn't play because he was doing his green card. Ruiz was questionable with an injury.
So was Calendar.
He was on their injury report. Right. But if you got a young guy who's questionable with an injury, you're not bringing him in the 25th minute. And that's really your only option to move Busquets forward and pull Tata's favorite midfielder, Gressel, off the
We've got a
field.
30-man roster. 30-man roster. Bring players that can play. That's on the manager too. Okay, let's say 5 of them are ineligible play right now.
I'm not disagreeing that it's on the manager, but what I'm saying is expecting him to make subs in the 25th minute on a 0-0 match is that's a bit panicky, dude.
Well, did you watch that game? Because I think every fan in of Inter Miami was panicky. No one was watching that game going, "We are in a good spot."
No, but you're tied 0-0. You don't make subs at the 25th minute. You just don't do that. Why would you need to do that? You're even. You're one messy kick away from being ahead.
And you're one Ricky Puig from being down 2-0. Like, that's where we stood in the first half.
But you weren't. If we were down 2 or 3 goals, then yeah, maybe you see the subs, but I don't think the subs were going to happen.
I'm calling
out Mike V here.
I would call it a statement piece. Changes needed to be made at that moment.
But you're not making a statement at that point.
Okay, so then fine.
It's 0-0.
We got to 25. Oh, thank God, we should have.
Well, according to you, we would have pulled Gressel off and put Sunderland at CDM, and that would have just signaled to me that we've given up.
I recognize maybe Sunderland was not the right call. I was you pulled it quick. I was giving you a quick answer. Then fine. Okay, you know what? Halftime. We just got our asses handed to us.
I agree.
Fine. Okay. Now we're to halftime. Asses handed to us. We played horribly. Comes out with the same stuff. Our guys walked in there exhausted, tired. Suarez probably got a knee injection at halftime at this rate. And again, no changes.
So I'm starting to wonder. You brought up the Suarez knee injections. I'm wondering if what they were giving him in Brazil is against MLS league rules.
No.
Because
okay.
I'm seriously wondering that. I'm kind of half joking, but really,
I'm going to tell you why.
Something there.
I'm going to tell you why I don't think that's true. You and I are both cyclists. We are well aware of doping rules and stuff like that.
I know.
Suarez is an Olympic and FIFA player. There's got to be consistent rules and testing.
Not an Olympic player.
Not like an international FIFA player. That's what I was looking for. He's an international FIFA player. He's got to go through the same testing regimen.
But maybe in Brazil they let you get injections mid-game, and MLS they don't. I don't know.
But that's what when he talked about his because he talked about it was all pregame, post-game, stuff like that.
Yeah. Maybe
okay, so we get into the second half. Yeah. No subs. 75th minute. LA scores. I would say there was a review for offsides, but it was never ever offsides. This wasn't Van Dijk getting protected by his boy Eden. Edo? What was the guy's name?
Eden?
What was the guy's name?
Endo.
I had the right vowels.
Wow.
Getting protected by his boy Endo from offside. This was easily not offside. It was a good goal. Long time coming. And then in the 88th minute, we haven't gotten to the reffing yet. The ref makes a truly horrible call. So the ref clearly forgot that this guy, one of the LA Galaxy guys, was on yellow. Completely forgets. Calls. I'm not even going to call it a soft yellow. It wasn't a foul.
It wasn't a foul at all.
It wasn't a foul at all.
I don't think there was contact on Busquets.
I actually don't know why VAR couldn't interject. I guess because it wasn't a straight red. VAR can't interject on a yellow.
I don't think it can. Yeah.
Gives the guy the yellow, and 30 seconds later, remembers the guy's already on yellow.
When he lifted up the yellow, he saw the guy's name on it, and he was like, "Oh."
It was the culmination.
It was bad.
Of one of the worst ref games I've ever watched in MLS, and there's a really low bar there, and it eclipsed that bar really well.
Well, let's be fair. This is MLS's own fault for not paying the MLS referees.
Oh yeah.
So now we're stuck with people who they may be trying their best, but are not qualified to ref at this level.
No.
And as a professional league, MLS, this is the 5th thing you've done this offseason that's goddamn embarrassing. Do better.
So let me call a couple things about the ref. This thing, two things that really stopped me. First off, I'm sure you noticed this. In the first 5 minutes, play stopped at least 6 times
Yeah.
due to ticky tack, subjective little fouls that he could have let play on, and he wanted to, like, what I saw all the whole time was this guy wanted to control the game because
Yeah.
anytime a player came near him, he screamed. He was
Oh
he
yeah.
was the screamer of screamers. He yelled. You look at some of these great MLS refs; they never raise their voice. Calm down. We'll talk. This guy screamed at everybody.
Yeah.
Horrible officiating. And I think the other piece was I do believe LA Galaxy deserved a PK on the Gressel. There was that Gressel shove. Guy coming in the box, Gressel kind of shoved, gave him just a little push, but
Mm,
there was contact. He fell. It was one of those things VAR wasn't going to overturn
that
because it
one's
was
a
a
little
question of how
soft.
much, but it wasn't so soft you couldn't call it.
Mm. Um, I don't think a ref would have called that.
Mike V, how about pointing the wrong way? Both potential ref, line ref. It was
Yeah.
it was again, I'm telling you, it was one of the worst ref games ever.
Yeah.
And it was to be and here's the humor. It was to our benefit. We got, again, I think we got saved on a
Yeah.
PK. We got this red that was not a fairly given red. And this isn't
No,
also, by the way, I don't want
but
anyone to
let's
say this.
also say, and I will say this, to get a yellow card for throwing a ball or kicking a ball at a reset is the dumbest thing you could
Okay,
do as a player.
here's the thing. I saw him do it in live, and I kind of thought to myself, huh, he didn't kick it that hard. He's not going to get in trouble. It wasn't this wasn't like one of those where you kick it all the way down the field, or like it was a little tap
No, but
that
like
early in the
don't
game. It should have been a
I
warning.
it should
It
have
should have been
been,
like, hey,
but
come to me. Let's
like you're a
talk.
professional player,
Yeah,
don't do
it
it.
shouldn't have been a match.
Don't put
Now, see,
yourself in that position,
I
especially with the
here's
shitty refs. Like,
by the
and I'm
rules of
saying this because next time this may not go in our favor. Any Inter Miami players, just give the ball to the ref. Let's not put ourselves in this position because we've been bitten like this before.
I get it, but again, like this, just this ref was horrible.
Yeah,
Ref was horrible. He impacted the total flow. All of our guys were frustrated. Well, both teams were frustrated, and I think we got the benefit of the ref. Like, I don't think this was one of those
yeah,
MLS script moments where everyone's like, "In Miami, the script was on the." No, the ref was just horrible. Just it worked
yeah,
in our favor more so than not because that guy clearly, again, he clearly forgot he just gave a red card. It was the weirdest
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And then, I mean, you had Messi going up to him after the game and getting on him, and rightfully so. Like, he just was not good. And in MLS, you just have to do better.
You can't. I don't
Like,
understand how MLS goes. Okay, MLS is still scheduling the refs. How a scheduler went and goes, okay, this is the premier game of this weekend. This is the guy we're gonna put there. Like, was this his
um,
first horrible game?
these are not MLS pro refs, man.
But the
The
scheduler is still a
schedulers have no
scheduler.
idea. You're
Someone's got
not
to give him.
getting the best of the best. You're getting
I,
regional people.
but
These
someone's
are
got to have
not
some tape
people.
on these guys. It can't just be I'm pulling them
But
out of a hat.
that's pretty close to what's happening because
Oh boy.
you're not flying these refs cross country to have your best ref at marquee matches. Like, you're not doing that in this situation. From what I understand, these are refs that are kind of local or regional, and they're going to these games and they're getting assigned games. I don't think they're saying this is the marquee matchup. So let's, and even if they did, they're going to go, yeah, give us the best scrub we got. Like,
Yeah.
it was going
Yeah.
to be bad no matter what.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so I need a diatribe on the rest for a little bit because that was just so bad.
It
So
was bad.
88th minute, we are up a man, which is great.
Yeah.
And then 90 plus 2, Messi does Messi.
Magic strikes.
It's Messi and Alba.
Yeah, I was going to say
It was the two
Alba.
of them. Looked great. And at that moment in time, because I think it was we went +1 the first half. The second half was +7.
Yeah.
You really thought after that goal went in, we're going to score again. Like, it legitimately felt like we may somehow win this match. Ended up as a tie.
Yeah.
I think it's an undeserved point, but a point's a point. And I
Listen,
had
how
3
many
people text.
times
Hold on. Let me
over
finish my
the
last thing.
last?
Hold on. Can I say the last thing?
No.
3 people texted me the same thing. Better to be lucky than good. And it's so true. So, yeah, dude, luck was on our side. I will take it. That's a point.
But how many times over the last couple of years have we not been on the side of luck? It's bitten
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
every time. If Inter Miami, if it wasn't for bad luck, Inter Miami would not have any luck at all.
There's been always we've had a few magic
Like,
moments. Today was a magic moment, or yesterday was a magic moment of luck. So
yeah.
hopefully it continues.
And
So
listen, I'll take a point on the road on
yeah,
3 days rest because if we had drawn like a couple more times last year, we would have made the playoffs.
no,
And
it's
we
a
lost
huge
a lot
point.
more than we drew.
Right
Yeah.
now, any game where you have Messi, you have to have points. Like that's just the way it's
And
going to be. And it was a point.
just so you know, so you're aware, Mike, we
Uh-oh.
are top of the East with 4 points, top of the supporter shield with 4 points right now.
I got to see one thing as we're
Every other
talking about.
fan base, you can't sing that.
Where's my supporters? Come up real
Good to
quick.
be us. We are one of 2 teams to only play to have played 2 games, Mike. It's physically impossible for
Yeah,
anybody
but
else
just
to have 4 points.
can I ask who's
Yeah,
in
I've got it up
second?
here.
Who's in second? I have two. Second in the supporter
DC.
shield. No.
DC. Yeah.
Supporter shield?
Oh, I'm looking at Eastern. Yeah,
Yeah.
second Portland. You're welcome.
Portland. Portland by a certain coach that I think is a little underrated lately.
Listen, we're not going to win supporter shield, so I don't even look at that.
I'm just listen. I got it. I'm wearing
I'm
my
looking
Phil
at the
Neville.
East.
I'm wearing my Phil Neville polo today.
We'll get to that.
I
Slow your
just
roll.
I just want to call it.
Slow
You're
your
gonna bring it
roll.
up.
I think
Portland's
it's
sitting
very.
second.
I think it's very important to remind everybody. It's game 2. Don't panic. we got a point, and we are top of the East.
All right. So I'm
Most
gonna
of the
panic.
teams in the East drew. By the way,
I
so
need to
there's only
panic a
3
little.
teams that won besides us.
I need to panic a little, but I need to build into my panic. So possession. Now possession was interesting. The ESPN has us at 63% possession to 36. It was a little bit. I think it was like 49-40 on MLS with some in contention. Shots. We took 11. They took 24. Shots on goal 5-9. Calendar had 8 saves in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Another attacking disaster class, in my opinion. This looked. Listen, I know you're going to tell me preseason is practice. This match looked a hell of a lot like a bunch of practice matches.
What I'm going to tell you is you cannot choose when preseason matters. You had no problem after the RSL game with preseason, and now preseason matters. It jumps a game, and then it matters.
I walked into the preseason.
Has very little to do with preseason and more to do with the same old lineup on 3 days rest flying cross
country. Which is what we did in preseason.
No, we didn't.
We have had.
We didn't play on 3 days rest.
Disagree. The first half against RSL was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We all went back. We watched the replay. Turns out the second half against RSL, not fantastic. First half against LA, opposite of fantastic, a disaster class. Like it was just almost as bad as it was as bad as you can be without actually getting scored on, right? Like it couldn't be worse, except if they had scored a goal. The second half, you and I differ. I know you think it was not horrible. You'd say it's okay. I think it's worse than okay.
It's average.
I think it was worse than okay. If we don't get a red card, we probably lose this match in the second half. When I say 3 of the 4 quarters we've watched so far have been poor, right now, in our very small sample set of 2 matches and 4 halves, we are wrong more than we're right. So I know you're going to say I'm picking and choosing. I have come back already on the RSL match and said, okay, we had a good half, and now I think I'm actually being much more consistent of we haven't shown that preseason wasn't a fact yet.
We've scored more. We've almost scored more in 2 games in the regular season than we did the whole preseason. We're averaging more goals per game than the preseason. It's already better, man. It's already better. And the reason, so let me give my rationale for why I think the second half
in the 3 bad halves, we've scored 1. We're 1-1. I'm sorry, we're 2 goals and 1
bad halves. Okay.
2.5 bad halves?
No.
Yes.
It was 2 bad halves. 2 bad. Well, I would say this.
Mike V, help jump in
half,
here. Bash
one
this a little
terrible half, and then one average half. I think the second half of yesterday's game was average. I think if we made those subs earlier in the second half, we would have had a good second half, and we could have tied or possibly won the game
Okay, we
because we
did
looked a
though.
lot more attacking. But this is my reasoning for thinking that it was a better half. First of all, we dominated possession in the second half. We put ourselves in a lot of great attacking positions compared to the first half. We had we had most of our shots and almost all of our shots on target were in the second half. We had 9 shots, 4 on target. One was a big chance, which obviously Messi scored. We also had excellent passing accuracy in the second half because we were almost at 90% pass completion. Like, that's something to look at. And then another indicator that we were constantly on the other side of the field and LA Galaxy wasn't, was we had 3 corners, they had none. I think that just shows that we were pressing in the second half, we were being aggressive, we were implementing our game plan, but we weren't being efficient with our shots. And you can see that if you look at all the shots and watch all our shots back, you'll see John McCarthy didn't have a great game. All the balls were right to him.
His highlight reel was beautiful though. I watched it this morning.
He didn't have a highlight reel.
No, he did. He has go on Instagram.
He
It's a
did.
beautiful highlight reel.
He had one save that I
He had
think was
5.
difficult.
4 or 5.
He had one save that was difficult,
But the
everything
highlight
else
reel
was
looked
right
great.
to him.
Shit, you just made me lose my train of
And
thought.
if he was
Talking
that
about-
good, he would have made team of the week.
No,
didn't.
he wasn't that good. I was joking about it. I mean, the highlight reel made him look good, but that was just I think you're ignoring the fact that we tied this game because of the red card. If that red
I'm
card
not
doesn't come in,
ignoring that.
if that red card
I'm not
comes in,
ignoring that.
we lose this match 1-0. Even in the bet, like ignoring the entire first half, we still lose this match 1-0. And I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
think
not
you're saying the same
ignoring that
thing.
fact.
The other
I'm not
piece
ignoring
is
that at all.
we still have a huge problem. So I think Mike V said it in a Discord we're on, but I was talking to someone else last night about this. Everybody wants to pass to Messi inside the box. You see it with Alba. You saw it. The only guy who kind of doesn't is Taylor. You see it with Gomez. They get inside the box, and instead of looking goal, they look. And a lot of times you see that coming. They're making a beautiful run. They get a foot on the ball, and instead of going goal, cross it to the center, cross it to the center, cross it to the center. We're taking one more. This is something we saw in preseason, and we've commented on the show before. That has to stop. If you have a clear look at goal, take the shot. And what we saw, by the way, funny enough, the first half of the RSL match, that's what they were doing. They were taking the shots. They weren't forcing the pass to Messi. And that everything came back. The entire match was force the ball to Messi. In fact, by the way, the goal we scored was force the pass to Messi. It was a beautiful ball. But still forcing the pass to Messi. Alba had clear looks early in the match, and he did not take the shot.
Right. But first of all, if I had to choose between Alba and Messi taking the shot, I'd probably choose Messi. But
I disagree.
The one player who I do not think is doing that is Gomez. Gomez is looking to shoot first, and when he doesn't have a clear opportunity, he's passing it off. Because I think he had the most shots on target, or most shots without their name being Messi. I also think the problem is, and I think this is kind of a bigger problem with Suarez. I do not think Suarez is fit. I don't think he's very clearly not in form. And he's not getting into positions. Like there were so many chances to break on the counter, and Messi was there ready to go. Gomez was ready to go. And where's our striker? He's huffing and puffing at the center half. So I would like to see what happens with a full game with a striker who can run. Will we see that? Probably not, because there's a whole week of rest, and Todd is going to say,
no,
well,
we will.
Same lineup.
We might not see it Saturday, but we'll see it by the end of 2 weeks from now, just because we've got these 5 matches and 3 games.
I'd rather see it Saturday, see Campana Saturday, and
Campana,
give Suarez some time to rest.
Yeah.
And then Suarez can come back midweek.
The other piece I'll say is, because I just think it's a problem. I've noticed on counterattacks too, like there was multiple times I saw Taylor waving for the ball, and all eyes are going back to Messi. Like there was a great scene in Ted Lasso where Jamie Tart says, "You're all doing this wrong. Y'all keep on giving them the ball at the end, try to make you score. You got to play through me." And right now, it does not look like the team's trying to play through Messi. They're trying to play too Messi. And every team has this
Yeah.
figured out. You play a compact defense against us, stay low. We can't do anything. We can't break you down. And then counterattack and score on us. And everybody's seeing that. Like,
Hmm.
it's clear. I know exactly what Orlando is going to run out against us tomorrow on Saturday. It's going to be a low block, stay compact and counterattack. And that's how you're going to beat us. It's coming. But they've got to start using Messi as a cam and stop trying to get him the golden
Well,
boot. Because
the
I do
problem
believe
he's on the right wing. I would love to see a two strikers up top, Messi at the cam, and then you have Busquets and whoever you want to throw out there,
but just
Ruiz, Gomez, and then have Redondo at the CDM.
play a 4-3-3 where it's actually a 4-3-3 and he's sitting in the cam. And he's
I don't
not
think you
trying to
can
play.
do that. I don't think you can do that with our center backs. You have to have a CDM to give them cover, I think. Which is why I think the only way you could really play
No, but
Messi as a
you could
cam is if you went like a
okay.
diamond in the
Do a
midfield.
4-2-1-3 then. With two CDMs or two guys kind of playing as a CDM and a diamond up top or something. You can do it. There's formations that allow this.
You could, but I think
you,
you do 4-4-2.
I think Tata's trying to get Messi the boot. The golden boot. Like, it just feels that
Well, and what's crazy is if he just let us play through Messi, I feel like he would.
And so this becomes a question because there's a lot of tweets going back and forth. Pablo said it here. Isn't this what Tata wants? I'm going to call this out as speculative. I don't know who runs that locker room. Tata should be, but it's Messi. And saying no to Messi is a lot harder than saying no to Higuain. And so if Messi is saying, I want to score, are you stopping him from saying that? And if you're Messi, I'm going to go to the inverse of this. If you're Messi and you're seeing this behavior and you recognize you're not scoring, are you not going to the coach and say, we're doing this wrong? You need to switch it? Like, the fact that we haven't stopped this is concerning to me.
I think it's very easy for people to give Messi all this credit for the power he has in the locker room, but I don't think that's at all it. I think this is purely on Tata, because if this was Messi's instructions, we would not have seen Alba go after Tata. Because Alba would have been like, all right, well, whatever, Messi, this is what Messi wants, so this is what we're going to do. He wouldn't have gone after Tata like that. He would have gotten in Messi's face.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Because Alba was ripping into Tata.
Yeah. And Suarez, Busquets, and Alba. If Tata can't stand up to Messi, which I think he can, because I do not think Messi is that type of person, I think it would be harder to tell Higuain no than it would be Messi, because Messi seems a very humble person.
But then Messi needs to stand up to Tata.
Those three would get in Messi's face if he got out of line.
But then why aren't they getting in Tata's face about it?
They are. Alba clearly is.
No,
There's clearly frustration there.
But this is an issue we saw. I'm sorry, we saw during preseason.
Right.
And I get it's practice, but it failed.
But you're coming off a win in your season opener, 2-0 win. And then so now when the first adversity of our season is striking, because adversity in the preseason hits different than adversity in the season.
Agreed.
This is the first time we're hitting adversity.
I will not even argue that statement.
This is the first time we're hitting adversity, and we're seeing that Alba's like, screw this, Tata. We are not doing this. This is not working.
All right, so we're 50 minutes in. We'll I want to cover Orlando because we're not going to do another show before Orlando. Before then, I do want to say one thing. Drake Callender,
congratulations.
He was the man of the match. He was
by far.
Him and Messi both team of the match day. But Drake played out of his mind. I was tweeting earlier today under my account. Actually, I don't know if anyone follows both our accounts. I screwed it up earlier today. I actually tweeted out from our joint account.
I don't follow either account.
Wow, that hurts. Drake was not up for man of the match day, even though he was the goalkeeper on team of the match day. They put Sean Johnson up for man of the match day. And I don't understand how it's the same people, right? Like MLS, it's all MLS. They put the goalkeeper from the bench squad onto the man of the match day drop. Like, it made absolutely no sense to me. But Drake should be. I watched a lot of MLS this week. There's no doubt that point we earned was earned off of his back.
Yeah, absolutely. And then before we move on, we'll go to the team of the match day. I do think we did get snubbed on this. I do
Who'd you?
think Alba should have been on this team. I think
I
Alba
would.
played very well both games, and Alba was very close to being man of the match. If Drake didn't
Uh,
go crazy, there's an argument for Alba man of the
I think
match.
if he scored, maybe if as someone who follows these teams in the match day way too much, scoring is kind of the number one way to get up on that board. And since he only
Yeah,
had the assist, I see your point. But I'm
he
not
could have been on the
surprised.
bench. Alba could have been
I
on the bench for
That's
this,
fair. Yeah, I think he could have been on the bench. He
but you're right.
listen,
It's about scoring.
he and Alba's really showing why he's Alba. Like
Oh,
if you didn't have a chance to watch him play in Europe and you're just watching him now, if you have a kid who wants to be a back in
that's
today's soccer, you just watch him.
I
He
don't think
is.
just a back. Like that's the mentality you want as a
Oh yeah,
player
that's a
too.
good point too.
Like fantastic. Like he is quickly becoming one of my favorites. Like I swore I wouldn't buy like a anybody but like I'd buy a Suarez jersey, but I haven't yet. But I might buy an Alba jersey and just say screw Suarez.
I give Suarez. Shouldn't you be saying like give Suarez a little bit? Let's see what's going to happen. He's match fit. Blah
I
blah
just don't
blah.
think he's well. I don't think he's well.
I
And
just don't
so
understand how a man who
I'm
played
not
59
piling.
games. He played 59 games in Brazil or something like that. Like again, you're talking this random drop. I understand
Tired,
your
man.
comments about the drugs and
He's
like different
tired.
drugs.
I
Yeah,
think if anything, he's just tired, man. Like because it's not like he came off a long off season and then joined us. He kind of came right off the end of his season,
and we saw how Messi struggled with
and then
that
we had
last year too.
the preseason tour. So if anybody needed time off, it was Suarez, and he didn't get it.
Hmm. All
So
right,
we'll see.
let's talk about the next 15 days. Well, technically it's 19 from today, but
Yeah.
so we are doing between March 2nd and March 16th, we have 5 matches. Two of which are
Hmm.
CCC matches, which most likely is Nashville because Nashville won their first one 3-0.
Yeah.
I think 3-0. So most likely Nashville. So we're starting off Saturday with Orlando at home. Way too soon for this match. Like this is you don't have Derby's third match of the season.
I know, and I
Horrible.
don't like the 4:30 kickoff time for this either.
I do.
I don't.
I do because A, you become the central game of the afternoon. Like if you're saying a bar or something, it's gonna be the game on. Two, I'm excited to go. This is we have nice weather. It's not gonna be too hot. This is one of the few days in South Florida where weekends you're gonna get to enjoy that 4:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
You're gonna get to enjoy the parking lot and the tailgate. Might think about
4:30
mimosas.
kickoffs are tough for me. It's hard for me to get there early on those days. It's a selfish reason why I don't want the 4:30 kickoff.
Do you need me call the wife and beg for you to get there on time? I'll do it.
You know, when you have kids with activities and stuff,
I got you.
it's hard to do that. You've been there, you know.
Yeah. So then we got a 5 o'clock Sunday kickoff on 310. So that's
Hmm.
another interesting one. But it's gonna be tough. Like we are going to have to see rotation. You're going to see Campana start. There is absolutely no way Campana doesn't start in these 5 matches, at least in some of them. I
Hmm.
happen to agree with you. Campana should start on Saturday. I don't think he will because Tata's way too stubborn for that. But I think he should. And if
I
he doesn't
think
start there, he's starting. He'll start on your 3-2 or 3-7. You can't start Suarez in both.
well, and I think if you're Tata, you're like, let me save the big guns for 3-7. Because if he can get out and that's an away game, if he can get out to a lead in that series, if we can win like
Yeah,
2-0 or 3-1 or something like that, and then have to come home and just defend that lead, I think he's if I'm him, I'm going all out on that CONCACAF game and maybe seeing some more rotation for Orlando.
I'll tell you what really sucks though. Our first 2 games were Western Conference games, which theoretically you'd rather lose against the West than the East. And then for
Yeah.
this 5-game slugfest to be against nothing but East teams, even the CCC matches are East teams. It is
Yeah.
again, you go back to scheduling, it's just poor scheduling.
Well, so I don't mind it for this run only because our longest travel days to Nashville and back, like that's not rough. Like if we're gonna travel right now, I'm okay than this.
I
I'm
get the
okay with
travel
this.
aspect. I'm more about, and I know you've given up on
I know
Supporter
from the
Shield, and that's,
scheduling.
but like
Well, for
you
Supporter
just,
Shield, you have to beat everybody. You can't just beat the East.
well, it's if you just win
No,
your
you
East
can't.
games,
Supporter Shield, you
yeah,
have to be the best in both sides, so you got to beat
no,
everybody.
but you do, if you look at the total points, the max points you can get in a season is what 102. The Supporter Shield record's 70, which means you can drop 32 points. So no, you don't have to
No,
win there. You only have a couple West games. You can lose those games and
but what I'm
still be
saying is,
competitive for the Supporter Shield. The
but you can
math is
also
on the side of,
lose. You can also lose a couple of the East games and be in line for the Supporter Shield because it doesn't matter what
I get
conference
the
the
point, but
team's in.
but that's when
For
you go from
playoff
supporters. I
picture,
see, yeah, I
yes,
see your
you'd
point.
rather lose to the Western teams, but in this case, and I don't want to be the 1 seed. The 1 seed never wins.
No.
I want to be 5.
Okay, so going next to Orlando. I'm trying to push this along. We're already at it. We've been having some
Good discussion.
good discussions. So we're gonna play Orlando SC on Saturday.
Yeah.
I know as Inter Miami fans, we sometimes forget how good Orlando SC is right now. So let me kind of just remind everybody because this is a good team.
Hmm.
I forgot they were second in the Support Shield standings last year.
Yeah.
They were second in the East, but they were also second in Support Shield. They had 18 wins, 7 losses, 9 ties. MLS Cup lost in the semifinals to the eventual winners Columbus Crew, 2-0. Leagues Cup, okay, USOC didn't even try. Lost in round of 32. CCC lost pretty early. Leagues Cup, they made it to the quarter knockout round, lost to
Hmm.
us in a match that the score line did not really show that level of competition in that game. So the score was 3-1. It was really decided by a penalty
Oh
kick that
my.
Martinez earned in a soft penalty. I'm not going to say was it earned or not, that Orlando took offense to. So their fans are still mad about this.
Is your softness for Orlando because of Disney?
No, I'm able to actually not be biased all the time and like able to have an honest conversation. I got into a lot of Twitter fights that next day about how hard or soft it is, but when you take all the emotion out of it, it was a soft yellow on a play that changed that entire game. And
Yeah.
so it was a very chippy game. That was, I'm not gonna name who brought this up in the telecast last night, but one of the things this person did say was Orlando did find that if you're chippy against us, we struggle more with it, and we've seen that in a couple other games too. So Orlando knows how to play us, and it is possible they are going to treat this game very seriously. It's also possible, interesting enough, they're not because they're in the middle of CCC. They've got other bigger fish to fry right now. They're in the same rotational problems we are in. They may use this as a rotational game. So it's just super interesting. You don't know, like both coaches are going to try to like outthink each other, but I have no idea what lineups are going to show up for either one of these teams.
I don't think it's that hard to outthink Tata.
It's probably not. Okay, preseason, Orlando went 5-0-1. They tied Flamenco, and then they had 5 more they had 2 like random games. They played FIU, they played Rhode Island, a USL team, and then 3 MLS teams and beat them all.
Would you have felt
So
better about our preseason if you added in FIU and Rhode Island and we won those 2 games?
yeah, after tying El Salvador, yeah, if we had won something, I would have really felt better. Anything would have helped.
I'm
Uh,
just curious.
then so they're coming off their preseason, as you're saying, preseason just practice. They're on a high note. They
Yeah.
tie Montreal, which no one expected. And if you watch that, I don't know, did you watch any of that match?
I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the full thing.
Yeah, you couldn't. The highlights wouldn't show you how bad and
I looked at the
inconsistent they were.
stats. That's how I determine if I'm going to rewatch a game or not. Is I look at the stats first, and the stats told me that was a boring game.
It was a boring game. It wasn't a good match. Last thing here, probably call out. So in CCC, they're up 3-0 in aggregate. So they could also not take the CCC game seriously and still are going to go through, which I go back to. I just don't know what they're going to show up as. Uh,
Cavalry. That's a Haitian club, right?
I thought it was Dominican. I might be wrong, though.
Uh,
They brought in, so they got Nicholas Lodero, who we talked about on this.
way off. They're Canadian.
Okay, we were way off.
Yeah.
They brought in Nicholas Lodero, Ivan Angolo, David Bricalo. They brought in a left wing, center mid. They looked for upgrades all over the field. They did ship off Junior Urso, so I did not have to
Mhm.
hear about that damn name again because that one always bothered me. And Anatole Carr. So it's still early. This team is many people's dark horse contender for MLS Cup winner. There's a lot of people thinking they'll do it. There was a lot of people that were surprised about this draw against Montreal. That was not what people expected.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Sorry, had a lot of details in there, kind of sharing with
No,
our
it was all
listeners.
good details. All good details. Like you said, they play tomorrow. So they're coming off short rest. Even if they rotate for this game or our game, there's going to be key players who are going to miss the game. I'm a little more optimistic about it than I think you are, only because we've had 5 days to rest. I think we're going to be forced to do some rotating, and I really hope Suarez. Let's give Campagna some time to play. Like get him on there. If he's not doing it, bring Suarez in for the 25th minute, or hell, start Borgelin, or bring Borgelin off the bench. He's quick, he's big, he's physical. He's a great guy to have there. So I'm more optimistic about it. I think if and it's a big if. We don't know if he's going to be there yet. I have a feeling Redondo makes his debut in this game. And if that does happen, I think that completely changes the outcome. And I think you would probably feel a lot better than how you're feeling going into this game.
Yeah, so kind of spoiler alert. I am not positive about this game. I let's start. If Redondo's there, all bets are off. I think that completely changes the nature of the game, and I think we win that game. We're kind of that's crazy. Like the guy hasn't even started yet, but if you can get Busquets
It just
free,
balances the midfield.
it's huge.
Yeah.
I'm going to make the assumption Redondo's not there. I'm going to make another assumption that Tata is stubborn, which we've seen
I hope not.
historically. Tata's stubborn
Yeah.
and makes few, if any, changes to this team. I think in that case, which is what I expect, Orlando's going to come out for blood. I'm not going to get into the rivalry game debate, though. We did talk to people that talk to people, and what the answer we got is in rivalry games, there is an energy that's different. Every player is a professional. They're coming out to play, same as always, but they do say that there's a level of chippiness, energy.
They know it's a rivalry.
They know it's a rivalry game,
but they still
they're not
prepare like any other game. Is this
absolutely
right? That was a summary?
I think that was the exact quote.
Yeah.
So I think Orlando is going to be that extra level of chippy. I think the Leagues Cup loss bothered them. I think more importantly, LA Galaxy and Real Salt Lake have given everybody the formula on how to beat us right now if Tata doesn't make changes. Again, we bring Redondo in, that formula goes out the door. But without Redondo, it's the same formula. Stay compact, force us to break through, and then beat us on the counter. And if that's how we show up, we're going to lose this game 3-1. That's my kind of my get. Like we are going to feel this. If Tata can surprise me and surprise a lot of us, not be stubborn, make changes, play to the opponent in front of him, we should win this game. In fact, we should win every game. We are the best team on paper in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as Tata is going to stay stubborn and not do that, I think this against a team that's this good, that just by the way, they're rebounding, right? The CCC match will not be their rebound game. It's going to be against us from Montreal. So I think a loss is definitely in the cards if Tata does not pull it together and show why he was brought in to coach this team.
Well, I don't think anyone knows why, but I think only because knows.
That is hold on. Pablo goes the Bright Line Classico. I have not heard that name yet, but that is that's the name of you just named our next episode, by the way.
Pablo, can we call it that?
We're calling that.
We'll credit you every time, but I'm gonna call the Bright Line Classico, sponsored by Pablo.
Yeah, that's the name we are going with for the next show.
I love it. But yeah, no, I think only because Tata knows if we crash out of CCC, if Nashville kicks us out of CCC, he's probably his seat is heating up. If not, he's out. Especially if we lose, any if we look like shit in this game and we get out of CCC, forget it. Tata's out. I think Tata is going to go young on this Orlando game. I think we probably see Noah Allen's debut as a starter. I think we can see David Ruiz start. We probably see Busquets. I'm going to guess we probably see Busquets and Suarez probably rested for this game, especially if Redondo's here. I think if Redondo's here, I don't think we see Busquets. I think Tata probably still brings in Gressel because he's trying to force that square peg into the round hole.
Would
Um,
in this
but
scenario, would Messi start on the bench?
that's a good question. Probably not, because I don't think you can afford to rest all of them, because you kind of have to go to win this, right? I think Alba probably plays. I think Messi plays, and then I think you go into the away match against Nashville. You've got at least Suarez and Busquets rested. You get Messi going at least 60, and then maybe you make a sub
So
then.
so let me ask this.
Hmm?
You got your Liverpool hat next to you?
I don't. I didn't even
All
bring
right.
it in the
Put
room because I
put
didn't
put
want to disrespect you.
put on the pretend Liverpool hat. You're Jurgen Klopp. So ask yourself importance of CCC, lack of importance of supporter shield. Would you bench Messi?
I don't think so.
See, I think you would.
I
You
don't
don't.
think
You
so.
leave. He's on the roster.
The only reason being, I say maybe you put Messi on like a minutes window. Maybe you only play him 60, or you wait and see how the game's going and pull him. But Messi has not showed any signs of being tired or worn down. And
But
I
you don't want
think
to find that. You don't want to find that in the middle of
right, you don't want to
CCC.
find that, but I think like you can play the Nashville game, and then who do we have after that?
Remember,
Montreal.
Nashville. Don't
We
forget
have
Nashville.
Montreal after Nashville. I think you can rest Messi against not Montreal.
But remember, we can't forget Nashville is not going to come in full strength. Uh, what's his
Right, yeah.
name? Just got
Mukhtar's
in,
out.
and their other guys
Mukhtar
out.
went down. Yeah,
Their other striker,
it's true.
Zimmerman's not
But I
starting,
think
which was
but
weird. Like,
I think you want to try and win that away leg,
oh, I
because
agree.
I think you feel a lot better coming home with a win, and I think then you can rest Messi. That's a
See,
good point, Pablo.
not starting Messi was
And
good.
I guess that's probably where Mike was going.
I just think it's actually that's what I was. I was more saying throw the match to some extent, and think about this. Okay, support is a
Yeah.
fucking freak, but like if we think about and this is to me, this is where a great manager is different than a good manager, or in Tata's case, a lousy manager. A great manager is thinking big picture,
Yeah.
and he's thinking. That's why I was telling you to put your Klopp hat on. Like, how
Yeah.
would Klopp, when he's looking at the big picture, and as an example, going back
And
to, I don't know if any of your
yesterday was a good example.
were there any players that were sitting in the stands that could have played in an emergency? If this had been Champions League final, were all those same guys in the stands, or a couple of them going to make it on the field?
A couple of them probably would have made it,
Right,
at least on the bench.
right. And I think that's
Yeah,
the difference, is that at the end of, and my feelings about rivalry games. I'm
I
going to be
know.
leading the fuck Orlando chants from the West Side.
Yeah.
But I could make a really strong argument that I want to win CCC more than anything else. Leaving 3 of the big
Yeah.
4 on the bench to start. One of the Suarez maybe not even dressed, which would actually probably be good because you'll sit in the stands and I can get that autograph. Like, might be the thing to do to help ensure that Wednesday win.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't disagree with anything that you're saying there. I don't, but I also think like
Tata
kind
won't
of
do any of this, by the way. Tata's starting them all, and it's going to make no sense whatsoever.
if he starts them all, we're I can't even say that because you brought up good points about Nashville being under strength, and I mean we'll get into that next week when we talk about that game.
By the way, do you know
But
how many shows we're gonna have to do next week? Like in the next 2 weeks, we're gonna have to do a show
we're gonna
like
be
every other
Saturday.
day.
We'll be Saturday live from the parking lot.
We're gonna have to do
Then we'll
Sunday or
be
Monday.
yeah, let's do Monday. 2 days
Okay,
in a row is
Monday.
rough.
Then we're
And
gonna
then
do
we'll probably do
Thursday,
Thursday. And
and
then
then we
we'll
got
have
to
to
do
do it.
Monday again because Sunday we got to play Sundays and the way Matt's. Then we'll do Monday again.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of shows. Like we are getting a break the rest of this week. We're gonna take a little break, catch up
Yeah.
because a lot of shows coming up.
But it's gonna be good stuff, and hopefully you guys like it. The changes that we're gonna make for the parking lot show is gonna be good.
Hey, so I want to get wrapping up. Pablo, Mike, anyone listening? I know we've got quite a few listeners still. You guys, any questions? Anything we didn't cover today? Before we kind of wrap it up, we try to keep it to an hour, but this one's, we're an hour 10. But we want to make sure we answer your questions if you got anything on your mind.
Yeah. It can be something ridiculous too.
Oh man, thanks, Pablo.
Thanks, Pablo. Brightline Classico, man.
That's the new name. That's the
That
name.
is
We're gonna put
fantastic.
I'm broadcasting that. Like when we talk the shows, like when we talk about the show tomorrow, like make sure you listen to our show. I'm calling it the Brightline
We
Classico.
preview the Brightline Classico.
Yeah, that's where we're going. We're gonna hashtag that and everything. I gotta talk to Joe. Joe Kerr wasn't around today. I'm gonna have Joe Kerr make us a Brightline Classico image. I'm messaging him right now.
Just like how the Brightline always runs somebody over, just have it running over the Orlando City logo or a lion or something.
Yeah, we need Joe Kerr right now.
Yeah, where's that? I don't know. Priorities, man. He's family time. There he is. He's here.
There he is. He is here. As I'm texting him in the background.
Joe, did you hear our idea?
Well, that was Pablo's idea.
Or Pablo's idea. But our idea for a
Brightline Classico.
The Brightline Classico. We need a Brightline train with the Inter Miami logo running over a lion.
Yes.
If anyone can do it, it's you.
Speaking of which, so I this. I went to that pop-up Adidas store in Wynwood this weekend, and they had every jersey on display. Okay, first off, I'm just gonna say it.
Please tell me what you told me before.
The Inter Miami jersey does not stand up to the competition. Like there are some great jerseys there. They had about 25 of the jerseys. FC Cincinnati's their jersey's so underrated, gorgeous. Like hands down, went to like my top 3 jersey. But the Orlando City jersey with this random ass lion tribute patch, like it even got uglier. Like seeing it in person, I think that was the one jersey seeing in person made it uglier. Almost every jersey looked better in person than in picture. Even the RSL one looked better, still disgusting, but better. But that one was hideous, and it just got worse and so bad.
Yeah,
super cool thing to go. Glad I went to it, but that was like walked away going.
I think, and maybe I'm wrong, but that was their USL logo, right?
I know it's a tribute. I don't know if it's to when they first joined the league. No, it's it has to be because they're so new they're still so fairly new. It has to be.
Either that or isn't one of their supporters groups the Three Lions or something like that?
Well, they are
maybe that's what it is.
That is their name. I think they are the Three Lions, but that's like I think you're right. This is the USL tribute.
Yeah. Well, either way.
But still, just disgusting and
shit team, shit jersey, gonna get shit on. By the way, 2-1 is my score prediction. I didn't get to it. We're gonna win. Right. Good guys.
I hope I'm wrong. You know that.
And I'm all in for. Listen, you're too logical for these rivalry games.
I'm sorry. I just
After what I went through last week, no, I think we're gonna win. I do.
I want us to win. I hope we do.
If Campagna starts, we're gonna win.
Okay, just so we know, to be prepared. If Campana starts and does nothing, we're gonna need a 60-minute show just for me to rant on Campana and tell you you're wrong.
Listen, man, he's gonna chip him.
One hopes. For your health and sanity, I hope he does. And on that
Listen,
note, I think we're done for the night.
I agree. As always, thank you guys for listening. Thank you all for sharing and getting us to that magic 100 subscribers so quickly. We didn't think it was going to happen so soon. Everybody, have a great week. We're going to take some rest until we're back to back to back to back to back at you next week. So,
And
as
wait, real quick,
always,
throw this out. So hold on before we do it. For those who want to see this live, just
I
a
was just going to
reminder.
say,
Okay, you thought you were going straight to the sun. Just a
no,
reminder, we will be in the green light before and after the game on Saturday,
yeah,
and we will be recording again Saturday afternoon, as long as the weather holds. I
live.
saw one report might not have great weather, but assuming we have good weather, we're going live from the stadium once again, and it won't be so dark out. It'll be nice. It's just the sun will have just set. It'll be
Yeah,
beautiful.
it'll be nice. It'll be beautiful background, Chase Stadium in the background, and hopefully some of you listeners out there to come support us. And if you're there, maybe we'll put you on the show. We had some guest appearances last time. So thanks, guys. Have a great night. And as always, fuck Orlando.